Hi, I'm DK and welcome to the Mga Pagong Gaming Channel. In this episode, we will share with you the 6 other underrated games you can play on PlayStation 5. As mentioned in our previous video, a game is said to be underrated if it's not as popular as its quality deserves. Have you played some of the video games we listed? Hit that subscribe button to join us in exploring the vast world of PlayStation. Let's get it on. Enjoy! The adventure game Road 96 was first released by DigixArt in 2021, but the PS5 version wasn't released until 2022. It is one of the best releases from the said studio. This will be ideal for you if you enjoy narrative-driven video games that encourage player engagement. Sadly, not nearly enough people are aware of this or even mention the game. In the fictional nation of Road 96, a dictatorship is in power. You have control over the behavior of a few of the teenagers who are trying to leave the country ahead of the elections. The journey of each character you control is influenced by your choices, whether they are dialogue or action related. They can have an impact on the NPCs your character interacts with along the way or the results of the elections taking place in the country. Road 96 will make a fantastic addition to your collection if you enjoy adventures in Telltale Games style. Death's Door by Acid Nerve is one of the more well-known indie games. Although, considering how excellent the game is, it is still undervalued. This action-adventure game was published by Devolver Digital in 2021, and it is underappreciated not because of how others see it, but rather because there aren't enough individuals who have first-hand knowledge of the game. Without a doubt, this is one of the best PlayStation action-adventure games. The premise, sound design, art direction, and gameplay mechanics are all perfect. Your character is a crow who works as a reaper for a company called the Reaping Commission Headquarters, harvesting souls. What begins as a straightforward mission to retrieve a soul develops into an adventure to unearth a conspiracy and locate the key to Death's Door. If you like The Legend of Zelda, Dark Souls, or similar games, then you'll be happy to know that there are elements of both here. This game is worth a look. In late 2020, around the time the PS5 was released, Annapurna Interactive published The Pathless. The game is similar to Shadow of the Colossus, one of the greatest PlayStation games ever. The exploration is enjoyable. Even though the traversal mechanism is fast-paced and sleek, you can also take advantage of quieter moments to relax in taking the gorgeous open-world environment. If you have played Shadow of the Colossus, you are aware that the Colossi boss battles were the game's main focus. The boss fights in The Pathless are also a lot of fun, and when you finally defeat each of them, you will feel very satisfied. If you like an open-world adventure game with fantastic boss battles, a unique traversal system, and puzzle-solving moments, then The Pathless should be in your collection. The co-op first-person shooter game Deep Rock Galactic was created by Ghost Ship Games and published by Coffee Stain Publishing in 2020, but it wasn't available for PlayStation platforms until 2021. Up to 4 players can cooperate in the game's co-op system to explore dynamically created caves, mine resources, look for misplaced equipment, and eliminate creepy crawling bugs that live there. Each player assumes the role of different dwarves. Engineer, Gunner, Driller, and Scout are the 4 playable classes you can select from. Every class has a different ranking system, and as you advance, your rank rises. You can also upgrade each class' primary and secondary weapon options as you progress. Some gamers consider Deep Rock Galactic to be quite repetitious, which is a complaint against it. Despite the game receiving a respectable amount of publicity, its positive qualities are not sufficiently recognized. You can get an idea of what the game is about if you picture a shooter version of a Minecraft game. The procedurally created levels help to switch things up a little bit, and the game is also quite well done. The Tormented Souls is probably on this list because you enjoy survival horror but have never heard of it. It is a remarkably underappreciated game because it makes fantastic use of many Silent Hill and Resident Evil classic elements. Although Resident Evil video games are quite popular, some people have voiced complaints that the earlier versions were better than the more recent ones. If you belong to the group of gamers with that set of thoughts, you will have an additional reason to enjoy Tormented Souls. The concept is similar to earlier Resident Evil games that have been made for 2021 gaming standards. It is also the year the game was released by P-Cube, The puzzle-solving beats are also possibly superior to what previous Resident Evil games had to offer, and the sound design and camera angles work nicely together to create a sufficiently creepy atmosphere in game. Tormented Soul is a great choice if you're seeking the finest survival horror game on the PS5. A prime example of suffering from success is Lost Judgment. It is one of those games that has been assessed depending on the quality of its predecessor, perhaps unfairly. In this case, the 2018's Judgment video game. The majority of gamers and critics agree that Lost Judgment's narrative lacks the brilliance of Judgment's when it was first released in 2018. The plot itself received less criticism than the pacing and style, and other elements like the parkour and quick-time events and the stealth gameplay in general also received some criticism. Even though this game is a sequel, not every aspect necessarily needs to be compared to the first one. Lost Judgment functions flawlessly as a standalone game. It also makes several improvements over Judgment that are simply overlooked. The seriousness of the actual game was not sufficiently conveyed in the trailers and announcement videos. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Check out our other videos for more gaming content and recommendations. If you like our video, leave a comment and subscribe to us. Happy gaming!